viva su memoria, rumbero.
Salsa, no te puedes olvidar que tu madre la rumba y que el son es tu papá.
De la mano de Candela, salsa para gozar, mi sentimiento sincero.
Ever wonder what happens when Mambo goes mainstream? When cha-cha-cha leaps from house parties to stage and screen? Away from the spotlight, can the heart and soul of salsa survive? Bay Area musicians and dancers say yes as they band together every day to preserve tradition, creativity, and community spirit through Afro-Latin music and dance.
I think it's been a salsa explosion in the Bay Area.
You can literally dance Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So who are these people? The Afro-Cuban music fanatics. The salsa people are often transplants from all over the world, each armed with his unique culture, spirit, and musical sensibility. How did they get hooked? Some grew up with Latin music.
You know, in my house, there's always a gran combo sonora ponceña while my aunt was cleaning. This is salsa. Salsa, and every day.
Eddie Palmieri was the first salsa artist I listened to. The very first album I bought, salsa record I bought, was Gold, which is the 1973 release. I just heard his concept of this very powerful rhythmical style of playing, but with really jazzy modern chords.
My father grew up in Guanabacoa, which is the, we call it a town for the slave. My father comes from a neighborhood that there's a lot of richer things when it comes to folklore and rumba and, Abacoa, all that African roots. And so my father in his childhood, my father did a lot of rumba in Colombia. We come from that. So I guess, my talent as a dancer come from him.
The Latin music bug bit others later in life.
I think my first real Latin gig was playing with I got a call to play with I don't even remember the name of the band. It was a group that was playing up at Club Elegante at the top of Mission Street. They're like above Caesar's Club, like 30th and Mission. And they needed a trombone player. That was like 1980, 1981. I think of everything we do here as being so hybrid. because we have so many. We don't have one set Puerto Rican community, one Dominican community, one Cuban community. That's why we end up doing so many, or the possibility of so many different things and styles coming out of this area. In the 1940s, Latin bands were exiled to the fringes of the Bay Area music scene. Only a handful of spots, Oakland's Alibaba Club and Sweets Ballroom, hosted luminaries like Tito Puente and Xavier Cugat. But in the 1950s, Latin music fever swept the country and opened the door to Cal Tjader and his modern Mambo quintet. The band jammed to packed houses at the Mambo Club, a tiny night spot in San Francisco's Chinatown. Meanwhile, across town, Afro-Cuban rhythms were taking root in the Fillmore district, a predominantly African-American neighborhood.
When Bop City closed in New York, then Jimbo Edwards opened one in the International Settlement. Was nothing more than a red light district at that time. All of the black Latin people came there because they could play. The downtown hotels wasn't happening.
Van Ness Street was the color line where black musicians couldn't play east of Van Ness. So almost all the musicians who wanted to jam would come to the Fillmore after their gigs. So that would include anybody of color, Latin musicians and etc. So, you know, the welcoming part of it, there would always be some Latin influenced music there. Yeah, that didn't change till the 60s.
Caesar Oscaroons brought everybody into the fold when he opened Caesar's Latin Palace in 1968. Located first on Green and later on Mission Street, Caesar's became the mecca for hundreds of mambo dancers and a prize gig for Latin music icons like Eddie Palmieri and Celia Cruz.
And the people that used to come from all over the town, tourists, everybody. A lot of movie stars. Mick Jagger used to come. U2, Sonny Bono, all these guys, all these jazz, all the good top musicians on the other side, they used to come all the time.
From the 1990s on, salsa flourished in nightclubs, ballrooms, and music and dance festivals. Jelly's Pier 50 was a cherished down-home spot that brought together music, dance, and community.
Jelly's was just a place to go on a Sunday where you could be outside, where you could see all your friends, where you could have live music, and it didn't cost a lot of money.
The atmosphere that Jelly's created was that it was almost an open jam session, and musicians knew this, that they could come in, drop by and sing a song or two with the band. So people loved that. People loved the spontaneity of that.
By 2010, the Bay Area was home to over 60 bands, 15 amateur dance troupes, and 30-plus venues showcasing salsa. Within a decade, so many people flooded the scene that rival factions split off. Tensions bubbled to the surface. Women who danced LA-style salsa resisted dancing with men who danced New York-style mambo. Amateur dance troupe members abandoned the club scene. Small neighborhood spots were muscled out by high-end venues. Many club owners cut their overhead by eliminating live bands and playing only DJ music.
I feel the community part of the music has gotten lost in some way. I remember in the old days at Bejones, there were people who lived to dance. It wasn't a social, it was social, but it was like all my friends are here. We all know the musicians. It was more communal and more of a community-based thing.
It's that connection. I just haven't seen much anymore because there's so much going on.
I see less and less opportunities for young musicians to get trained in the music, meaning that the educational systems are underfunding or defunding the arts, and it's more and more of a struggle just to get these kids exposed to the music, let alone trained to play it.
John Calloway, Arturo Riera, and Sylvia Ramirez are leading the charge to the future with their San Francisco Latin Jazz Youth Ensemble. This community of dedicated students absorb Afro-Latin rhythms and melodies and weave them into the fabric of jazz.
The thing that all of us need, and not everybody is willing to acknowledge, is that we need each other. We need joy. We need passion in our lives.